I'm sure you've heard the news, seen the headlines, and felt a pang of concern. The term gender-based violence, or GBV, is one we encounter often, a shadow that seems to loom over communities across the globe. It can feel distant, like a problem that happens somewhere else, to someone else. But nothing truly prepares you for the reality of how close GBV really is. It's not a headline. It's a story that unfolds in our neighborhoods, our workplaces, and sometimes within the very walls we call home. It touches the lives of our friends, our family, our colleagues. Today we're going to move beyond the headlines. We will break down what GBV is, understand its many forms, and most importantly, explore the path from hurt to healing. We will show how survivors, with courage and support, reclaim their power, and how every single one of us has a role to play in creating a world free from this violence. This conversation might feel heavy, but it is filled with hope. So, let's start with a clear definition. Gender-based violence is any harmful act directed at an individual or group of individuals because of their gender. It is rooted in gender inequality, the abuse of power, and harmful norms. While it disproportionately affects women and girls, it can and does impact people of any gender, including men, boys, and gender-diverse individuals. It's a violation of fundamental human rights. GBV isn't a single act. It's a spectrum of behaviors designed to control, intimidate, or harm. Let's explore its different forms, because recognizing them is the first step towards stopping them. First, there is physical violence. This is any act that uses physical force to cause harm, injury, or pain. It includes things like hitting, slapping, pushing, or using a weapon. It's the most visible form of abuse, but it is often just one part of a larger pattern of control. Next is sexual violence. This includes any sexual act, attempt to obtain a sexual act, or other act directed against a person's sexuality using coercion. This happens without the person's free and enthusiastic consent. It encompasses a wide range of violations, from unwanted touching and harassment to assault. A core principle here is consent. It must be freely given, reversible, informed, enthusiastic, and specific. If it's not a clear yes, it's a no. Then there is psychological or emotional violence. This form is invisible, but deeply damaging. It involves behavior that harms a person's self-worth or sense of self, such as constant criticism, insults, humiliation, intimidation, or threats. It's the voice that says, "You're worthless," the constant monitoring that erodes trust, and the isolation from friends and family that creates a world of one. This includes coercive control, a persistent pattern of behavior that strips away a person's freedom and sense of self. Economic violence is another powerful tool of control. This happens when someone controls a person's ability to acquire, use, and maintain their own financial resources. It can look like preventing a partner from working, controlling all the household money, running up debt in their name, or withholding funds for basic necessities like food and medicine. It traps a person, making it financially impossible for them to leave a dangerous situation. And in our modern world, we have digital violence. This is the use of technology to harass, threaten, or control someone. It includes cyberstalking, sharing intimate images without consent, often called revenge porn, doxing, which is publishing private information, and online harassment. The digital world can become another space where abusers exert power and instill fear. These forms of violence often overlap, creating a complex web of abuse that is difficult to escape. The impact of GBV is devastating and far-reaching. It knows no boundaries, crossing all ages, cultures, incomes, and social statuses. The World Health Organization estimates that about 1 in 3 women worldwide have experienced either physical or sexual violence in their lifetime. This isn't just a statistic, it's a global health crisis. The consequences ripple outwards, affecting every aspect of a survivor's life. The most immediate impact is on health. Survivors often suffer from physical injuries, but the invisible wounds can be just as severe. There is profound trauma, leading to anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and other serious mental health conditions. The constant stress can also manifest in chronic health problems, from heart disease to digestive issues. The economic cost is immense. Survivors may experience lost jobs or be unable to work due to trauma or the abuser's control. This leads to financial instability and poverty, creating yet another barrier to safety. For society, the costs add up through healthcare expenses, legal services, and lost productivity, impacting entire economies. And then there is the deep sense of isolation. Abusers often work to cut survivors off from their support systems. This, combined with the stigma and shame that society often places on survivors, creates a profound loneliness. This isolation not only deepens the psychological harm, but also makes it incredibly difficult to seek help. The violence doesn't just harm one person. It damages families, weakens communities, and perpetuates a cycle of harm for future generations. So how do we act? How do we stop this cycle? It begins with a fundamental shift in our mindset and actions. We must actively work to dismantle the systems and norms that allow GBV to thrive. First and foremost, we must believe survivors. When someone discloses their experience, the first words they hear should be, "I believe you," and "It's not your fault." Asking, "Why didn't you leave?" places blame on the survivor. Instead, we should ask, "How can I help? And what do you need to be safe?" Creating a culture of belief empowers survivors to speak their truth without fear of judgment. Prevention starts with education. We need to be teaching consent, healthy relationships, and emotional intelligence from a young age. It's about challenging rigid gender stereotypes that limit boys to being strong and unemotional, and girls to being passive and nurturing. When we teach respect for boundaries and promote empathy, we are building the foundation for a non-violent future. We must also support the organizations on the front lines. Shelters, hotlines, and advocacy groups provide life-saving services, offering safety, legal aid, counseling, and a path to independence. Supporting them through volunteering, donations, or advocacy helps ensure that a lifeline is always available for those in need. Strong, enforced laws are critical. We need legislation that protects survivors, holds perpetrators accountable, and closes legal loopholes. This means advocating for policies that support everything from restraining orders to funding for survivor services. Justice is a key component of healing and prevention. Ultimately, we have to be committed to changing norms. This means challenging sexist jokes, questioning harmful stereotypes, and promoting gender equality in our daily lives, at home, at work, and in our communities. It's about men and boys becoming active allies in the fight against GBV. Cultural change is slow, but it is built through the accumulation of these small, everyday actions. The journey from victim to survivor is not a simple one, but it is a powerful testament to human resilience. Let's consider a story, a journey many have taken. Imagine a woman, we'll call her Maya. For years, she was hidden by fear, her world shrinking under the weight of emotional and economic control. Her confidence was eroded, her connections to the outside world severed. She felt trapped, believing there was no way out. But one day, a spark of courage ignited. Maybe she saw a poster, or a friend reached out with concern. In a quiet moment, she reached out. She made a call to a local helpline. On the other end of that line, she found help. She found a voice that believed her, that didn't judge her. A counselor, let's call him Jordan, helped her create a safety plan. For the first time in a long time, she felt seen and heard. Through a local support center, she learned new skills. She attended workshops on financial independence and joined a support group with other women who understood her experience. She wasn't alone anymore. Slowly but surely, she rebuilt her independence. She found a job, secured a safe place to live, and began to reconnect with the friends and hobbies she had lost. The fear didn't vanish overnight, but it no longer controlled her. Maya's story shows that recovery is possible. It is a journey of reclaiming one's voice, power, and future. It is a path made possible by the network of support that caught her when she decided to leap. This brings us to your role. You are part of that network of support, whether you know it or not. Your actions, big and small, matter. Speak up. When you hear a degrading joke or a comment that excuses violence, challenge it safely. Promote conversations about respect and equality with your friends, family, and colleagues. Your voice can help shift the culture. Know and support your local resources. Find out the number for your local domestic violence hotline or the name of a nearby shelter. Share this information. Donate your time or money if you can. Amplifying these resources ensures they reach those who need them most. and vote for protections. Support candidates and policies that prioritize funding for GBV prevention and services, that strengthen laws to protect survivors, and that promote gender equality at all levels of society. Your vote is a powerful tool for systemic change. Gender-based violence will not end overnight. It is a deeply rooted problem that requires a sustained collective effort. But we are not powerless. Every time we choose empathy over judgment, action over apathy, and community over isolation, we shine a light into the darkness. Together we can support survivors, hold perpetrators accountable, and build a world where everyone can live in safety, dignity, and freedom. Together, we can end the silence.